Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us and welcome to the virtual college fair. We appreciate you joining us today. Just a few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions for our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so please be sure to sign up for any additional sessions. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at the same website where you registered. And for now, I'm going to pass it over to our presenters. Good luck, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. It's a pleasure to have you and for you to take the time out of your busy schedules to listen in on Wheaton College and what we're all about. And I just want to first introduce myself and let the other presenters also introduce themselves. For me, my name is Hannah Ting. I am an admissions counselor here at Wheaton College. I graduated from Wheaton in May this year, and I studied anthropology and communication as a student. Right now, I currently serve students in the Great Lakes region and also Arkansas, Kentucky, Missouri, and Tennessee. And I'll turn it over to Angela.
Wonderful. So yeah, while I introduce myself, Hannah can share the screen so we can get started on the Journey to Wheaton session. My name is Angela Delacote. I'm also an admissions counselor at Wheaton from Littleton, Colorado. I graduated from Wheaton in 2018, so just 2 years ago, studied psychology and did a program called Human Needs and Global Resources. And we'll have Ben introduce himself next.
Hey guys, my name is Ben Moser. I am a current senior at Wheaton College. I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri, and I am studying music and Bible and theology at Wheaton.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you all for joining. Like Hannah said, we'll start with the mission of Wheaton. So the best way I know to share about Wheaton is to start with the most important thing about us. So since our founding in 1860, Wheaton has been committed to our motto, for Christ and his kingdom. So we are a distinctively Christian institution, which means that all of our faculty, our staff, and our students are committed Christians. So everything at Wheaton, from classes to residence halls to clubs and activities you're involved in, will all have Christ at the center. And when we say that we believe in the integration of faith and learning, we mean that the opportunity to glorify God and to see him at work is present in every facet of life at Wheaton. Additionally, we are committed to reflecting the diversity of God's kingdom here on Wheaton's campus. So we believe inclusion, justice, and unity are central to the greatest commandments, as well as to our college's mission. And like I said earlier, our motto is for Christ and his kingdom, and we strive to live that out together in community. So let's talk about the student body. So who actually makes up this community? We have 2,400 undergraduate students on our campus. So let's take a look at the incoming freshman class of 2019. So as you can see, they come from 41 states and over 35 countries. Of students from the US, 30% are students of color. An additional 16% of students are coming from outside of the US, whether that be as missionary kids, third culture kids, or international students. And furthermore, nearly 70% of our students come from outside of Illinois. This means that you're going to be living and learning alongside peers from all over the world. It's a very national and global campus. And choosing Wheaton, it means choosing the opportunity to grow and to learn from students who have a really wide variety of backgrounds and life experiences. And it was through this student body that I made the lifelong friends that I have today. I also like to highlight how our retention rate is 95%. So this is the percentage of first-year students who return for their second year, and it's an indication of student satisfaction. So does a student want to come back to school, and can they afford to? And it's a really big reason why Wheaton is known for strong Christian community, because the friends that you start college with, you also graduate with. Okay, I also want to share with you a few examples of Wheaton alumni so that you can catch a vision for who our students are. So meet Emily. She came to Wheaton from Appleton, Wisconsin, and chose Wheaton because we offered what she was looking for. So high caliber academics, Christ-centered community, and proximity to Chicago. She double majored in math and physics. And meet Chloe from Detroit, Michigan. So she chose Wheaton because she loved the idea of receiving both an academically rigorous and a Christian education. And she really loved the people she met when she came to visit campus, so students and professors alike. And as a student, Chloe studied English literature with an ESL concentration. And finally, meet Andrew from Hutchinson, Minnesota. So Andrew majored in chemistry and minored in biblical and theological studies. He says, I wanted to major in the physical sciences, but wanted somewhere where I could also grow in my faith. Wheaton's reputation for strong academics from a Christian perspective made it an easy choice. So I'm going to let Ben jump in and share a little bit about how he chose Wheaton.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm a music major, and in high school I was kind of looking for where to go, and I was also feeling called towards doing ministry and serving in the church. So I was looking for a Christian college that I could grow in my faith, grow in my knowledge of the Bible, and also grow in my musicianship. So I'm a bass player, actually. I'm up in the practice room right now. Yeah, and so I hadn't even heard of Wheaton. I just found it online, and then I ended up a lot of my teachers encouraged me to apply. So I applied, came and visited, and I mean, I didn't know anything about the school besides what I had seen online. And I loved my visit here. I got to meet a ton of the different students. And what stood out to me the most was that they brought me right in. It was like I was already a part of the community, and I was just some random high school senior, coming in and sitting in with the orchestra. And I went and got dinner with them afterwards, and I was hanging out with them at night, hanging out with the jazz band, and it was just evident to me how great of a community there was at Wheaton. So for me, I chose Wheaton because of, like all of those other people said before me, strong academics, strong faith, and also this community that I found here. I knew that I would be able to make some awesome friends here and also continue to grow in my music and in my study of the Bible.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you for sharing, Ben. So you got to hear from a current student as well as from these alumni. And as you can see, they come from many places, but there are central themes as to why they chose Wheaton, which Ben touched on. So these students were looking for a deep faith community, for academic challenge, and a holistic education. So let me share with you a bit more about how we provide those things at Wheaton. So we are the leading Christian liberal arts institution, and we offer a wide variety of majors through our College of Arts and Sciences, as well as through our Conservatory of Music. So we believe the liberal arts trains our students to think critically, to problem solve, to ask great questions, and to write and communicate effectively, all of the skills that employers are looking for these days. And the great thing about studying the liberal arts at a Christian college is that you get to put Christ at the center of what you're studying and allow your faith to inform your understanding of that discipline. So we believe in the integration of faith and learning, which is why our general education curriculum called Christ at the Core focuses on faith and vocation and how being a Christian impacts your study and vice versa. So what is the classroom environment actually like? So I believe that our faculty are one of our greatest strengths. I could talk about professors all day long, as could Hannah and Ben. So they are experts in their field, but the great thing about our faculty is that they also love the mission of Wheaton. So in the same way that I chose Wheaton for Christ and his kingdom and for the mission, professors do the same. So our faculty invest in our students, both inside and outside of the classroom, and I still view my professors as mentors and friends to this day. So the faculty to student ratio is 10-1. And our average class size is 20 students, meaning that you really do have the opportunity to get to know them well. Professors hold office hours, they get meals in the dining hall with students and invite their students to their own homes for dinner and to get to know their families. I'm going to pause again and let Ben or Hannah just kind of chime in on some great professor experiences they've had or classes they've loved at Wheaton.
Go ahead. Yeah, Angela's exactly right about our professors. I mean, it's unbelievable how much they care about the students, not just in whatever the subject is that you're studying, but as about you, how you're doing in the class and how you're doing at Wheaton, how everything's going. One professor that stands out to me immediately, Dr. AJ in the physics department. Like I said, music and Bible. I'm not a physics major, even slightly. But I actually ended up getting invited with this group, and we go over to his house on Sunday nights and eat dinner with him and his family, and just get to hang out there and get to know him. And he really, again, cares about the students and wants to give us a space to get off campus, get a home cooked meal, not just the dining hall, even though I do also like our dining hall. It's just amazing that a professor is taking like his whole Sunday night and his whole family Sunday night to spend time with a bunch of his students from his class, not even necessarily from his classes. I even had a class with them, and I get to hang out with them. So that's the kind of stuff that, I mean, I think everybody at Wheaton has had those stories of professors who do that and do just go the extra mile for their students.
Yeah, definitely. You want to share, Hannah?
Yeah, sure. I love telling the story to a lot of people that I meet. When I came as a freshman, the very first class that I had that year, I went into the room and sat down with all my other classmates, and the professor walked up to the front and told everyone, greeted us. He said, "Not a single one of you students here has not been prayed for by name by me today." And he shared with us that he prays for all of his students by name every week before he starts teaching classes. And I just think that amount of care and devotion he has for students and shows to us, not only in the classroom, but also outside of the classroom. After taking that class freshman year, I never interacted with him again, except for sometimes I would just meet him on the sidewalk and then we'd have a conversation again. And it was just like back when I first was in his class freshman year. And he just, I knew from that first day that I was at a good place, that there were people in this community that really cared about me, and really cared for my well-being, not just as a student, but also as a person.
Yeah, those are excellent examples. Oh, yeah, Ben?
Could I hop in real quick again?
Definitely.
Just talk about like a specific class experience too, because we've talked a lot about how our professors like care about us and you know all that stuff, but they're also just like experts at what they do.
Mhm.
And that is also another incredible aspect of Wheaton. So I'll just talk a little bit about my experience in the conservatory. My professors in the conservatory are like practicing professional musicians. Like my bass teachers that I've had, one of them plays for the Lyric Opera in Chicago, and he comes down to Wheaton once a week to teach students here. So these are like professionals in their field, and that goes for every department, not just the conservatory. You've got our science professors who have their own labs in our science building doing their own research, stuff like that. And so currently I'm in a class that's Principles of Worship, Music, and Ministry, and it is our professor, Dante Ford. I mean, he's been up until this point a worship pastor in churches, and now he's at Wheaton giving us like the most practical things I've ever heard about. I mean, he's just like, this is going to happen in your church. One time this happened to me. I mean, you're just getting professors who have done the stuff, who are experts at what they do. And there's just nothing like that to be able to get like complete inside knowledge about a field and about whatever it is that you're studying.
Yeah, excellent examples. Thank you. And like I shared earlier, we could really spend all day on this slide because our professors are incredible. So I also want to give you a picture of what the classroom environment is like academically. So glad that Ben touched on that as well. So you can see the average academic profile for accepted students here. So I don't show this to say this is what you need on your application or what you need in order to be admitted. So we believe that our admissions process cannot be defined by a single number. Instead, I hope to help you picture yourself growing and being challenged intellectually by not only your professors, but also by your peers. So our students are academically prepared and excited to lean into a new level of rigor in college. Okay, let's go to student life. So there are endless ways to get involved at Wheaton. So I'd love to share more about student life on campus as well. So we have varsity level athletics. We're a Division III school with 21 teams. 60% of Wheaton students are involved in sports in some capacity, whether that's through varsity, club, or intramural teams. Additionally, we have over 100 student groups available to join. For example, our student center on campus houses the different offices for these groups. So we have the Office of Christian Outreach, the International Student Programs Office, the Office of Multicultural Development, and the Student Activities Office. So when I was a student at Wheaton, I served in a weekly ESL tutoring in the community. I interned at a human rights organization in Peru through the Office of Christian Outreach, enjoyed on-campus Bible studies, both leading them and being a part of them, and gained really valuable experiences as a research assistant as well. I also got to study abroad for 6 months in Uruguay and got to do independent research and be part of a local church community. So just love all the opportunities that Wheaton gave me, and so would love to pause and hear about Ben and Hannah's involvement as Wheaton students.
I can go first again. A lot of my involvement has to do with music because that's what I'm doing. So I've been in almost every single ensemble that Wheaton has. I'm so close to getting them all. I don't think I'm going to get them all before I graduate though. But I also was involved in different small groups on campus. My freshman year, I was involved in 2 different small groups that we run on the campus. This year, I'm leading one of our small groups that we have. I also was able to get involved in a local church, and that has been also one of my most formative parts of my time at Wheaton. Just able to join in with a local community of believers and just be challenged in different ways through that. Those are like the main things I've done. And the other thing I would just say about our music ensembles is that they're 50% non-majors. So if you're listening to this, you're like, this guy's he's a conservatory major. What's he doing talking about music so much? Anybody can be in our ensembles. I mean, a lot of them are auditioned, but like we need non-majors to be in our ensembles as well, because that's why we can have the level of music that we have, is that we have a whole campus participating in that music. Yeah.
I'll go ahead and share some of my experiences. So I had the opportunity to be a student worker in the Billy Graham Center archives, which is really cool. If you're not familiar with what an archives is, it's kind of like a special collections library. And I got to handle a lot of old documents that are unpublished about evangelism in the 19th century in North America. So a lot of Jim Elliot's papers, things like that. It was really cool. I got to deal with the primary sources in my hands. And I served as a student leader for 2 years in the Office of Multicultural Development. For 1 year, I was an events coordinator, and another year, I was part of a peer mentorship program for incoming students of color. And yeah, I also got involved in a nursing home ministry. That was really fun. And I got to also join a local church community and get involved as a pianist. That was really fun. And I think it's wonderful to interact with other believers, intergenerationally of different generations and ages and cultures. So that's been really fun.
Yeah, so fun to hear about all of our different experiences at Wheaton. And as you can see, there's a lot happening on and off campus. So on a given Friday night, there's likely 10 things to choose from to attend, whether that's theater or musical performances, lectures, concerts, sporting events, ministry opportunities, and the list truly does go on. Additionally, residence life is a huge part of campus life. So most of our students live on campus for all 4 years. We really believe that living together in community is a crucial part of our growth. I also do have to mention our incredible dining hall. So I personally really cared about having a great dining hall on campus since I knew I would be eating 3 meals a day over 4 years. And we are consistently ranked at the top for our food. So we have a locally sourced scratch kitchen that is full of constant variety. Chapel is also a life-giving rhythm at Wheaton. So we have chapel 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It's a space for us to pray together, to read scripture and worship alongside one another. There are a variety of speakers that we bring in from all over the world. So some names that you might recognize, like Tim Keller, John Perkins, Beth Moore, Gary Haugen from International Justice Mission, Lecrae, just to name a few. We also get to hear from faculty and staff, as well as student groups. And there are many ways to pursue spiritual formation on campus. So chapel is just one of them. We have a wide variety of small groups and Bible studies, and I found that staff and faculty are really eager to build mentoring relationships with students as we all strive to look more like Christ together. And we talked a lot about activities on campus, but what about off campus? So Wheaton, in my opinion, is located in the best of both worlds. So we're nestled in the suburbs near a wonderful downtown area with coffee shops, restaurants, and parks. However, the train runs right next to campus, and the wonderful city of Chicago is just a 40-minute train ride away. And we really do love being so close to Chicago because of all the educational, volunteer, and vocational opportunities it offers our community. It's also just really fun being a college student near a major US city. And so there are many ways that students at Wheaton go beyond our local area as well through study abroad opportunities. So I shared about the 2 study abroad opportunities I did through Wheaton, and we offer both semester and summer study abroad options, both domestic and international.
And Angela has talked a lot about student life on campus and what we're all about, but it's also really important to understand and have a good idea of what life is like after Wheaton, especially if you're looking at college as a big investment, a big decision that you'll have to make. It's really important to know what you're going into, and you want to be able to look back on your decision and not regret it at all. And with that, I love highlighting our Center for Vocation and Career. It's a really robust department on our campus, a really wonderful resource for current students and also graduates in the alumni network. So they have a lot of coaches for career coaches that help students and partner with them alongside their vocational callings and helping them discern steps in taking for their professional development. And these coaches are tailored to your major and whatever you're studying. So they'll be able to kind of give you insights into the industries you're planning to go into and such. There are also events based on your vocational season, and these people in the Center for Vocation and Career, they really guide you all throughout your time at Wheaton, from freshman year up to senior year. So as a freshman, you come in, you have events such as strengths finder assessments, helping you understand and identify what are your strengths, what are your passions, and how could you take them into a career or beyond. And there are also activities such as helping you craft your elevator pitches, helping you tell your story to other people, all the way up to your senior year when you will have job fairs, mock interview sessions, and also internship searches and alumni connections. So they really care for you. And even after you graduate, up to 2 years, the Center for Vocation and Career remains a resource for students. Our alumni network is also amazing. Alumni absolutely love to connect with current students and also even after graduation. So while you are currently a student at Wheaton, we have a system that you can create an account for and get connected with all these other alumni, so you can chat with them and talk about pretty much anything that they're willing to share about. And even for me, after graduating this past May, they started the Center for Vocation and Career. They started a program just for recent graduates and helping us launch into the job market and understand how to navigate postgraduate life. I also have numbers for a 4-year and 6-year graduation rate. I like to note that these numbers are higher than our national average. And also the last number that you see on there, the landed rate, this indicates the percentage of students who find their next steps 6 months after graduation. So that can either mean a job or graduate school or military service. And that high number is really, really promising. Of course, these numbers were taken from 2 years ago, but hopefully we will continue to have consistent numbers going forward. And with that, I'd just like to highlight a few more alumni profiles. Here is Leonard from Missouri, a dear friend of ours. And he is currently working at one of the top tech sales companies in America. He talks about how one particular alumnus connection really helped him navigate his professional calling and ultimately helped him land his current role today. And here we have Anna from Pennsylvania. She's currently a candidate for a PhD in hydrology. And she talks about how Wheaton really helped her understand the connection between faith and the scientific work she does on a daily basis. So it's really amazing to see how our alumni are all over the world doing amazing things right now. But it's also really humbling to recognize that all of them have beginnings professionally at Wheaton College. So I'd like to take some time to show you all a video that highlights what our campus looks like and what our community is like.
Humble leaders, adventurous thinkers, faithful believers. For Christ and his kingdom, Wheaton stands at the forefront of Christian liberal arts education. Here, we facilitate an unparalleled journey for our students, bringing together deep faith and intelligence to pursue their most ambitious callings. At Wheaton, reaching God-given potential is never accomplished alone. From coaches on the field to professors in the classroom, we come together to make space for students to wrestle with timeless questions and pursue biblically informed, thoughtful wisdom as they pursue academic, artistic, and athletic excellence. We are one of the nation's colleges that change lives, because that is exactly what we do. We live, work, serve, and worship together as an educational community centered on Jesus and reflecting the beautiful diversity of his kingdom. It's collaborative, immersive, Christ-centered. enduring model. With twin traditions of quality academics and deep faith, along with a faculty of Christian thought leaders and a staff of dedicated believers, allows us to champion the true essence of the Christian liberal arts educational experience. Continuing the legacy lived out by iconic thinkers and evangelical luminaries around the globe, Wheaton integrates and connects disciplines through Christian thought, diverse peers, and contemporary global context. Here, adventurous thinkers and faithful believers come together to create a mosaic of diverse backgrounds, beliefs, and hopes. It's a place of curiosity and conviction, a place to live out your values and pursue your ambitions. Except here, it's not only about what you can achieve. It's about who you can become. Living out our calling with heart and skill through Christ-centered leadership. At Wheaton, you don't have to settle. We call ourselves Thunder because, like thunder, the Wheaton Network is a force moving through Him and for Him to build the church and benefit society worldwide. Like rolling thunder, God's mighty voice calls us to be humble leaders, adventurous thinkers, and faithful believers for Christ and His kingdom.
So we believe that Wheaton College is a worthwhile investment, and it has a lot of wonderful things to offer. And thankfully, we are not the only ones who say that about ourselves. As you may know from attending this session and also from the video you just watched, we are a member of CTCL, or Colleges That Change Lives. And I'd like to note that we are one of the only, we're the only Christian college that is out of the 40 schools that are represented under this organization. And also, we are top ranking liberal arts school on a lot of different college rankings. So for the US News and World Report ranking, we are number 58. And I'd like to note we're also, no other distinctively Christian school is in the top 100 of that ranking. And we are also considered one of the best colleges for your money by Money Magazine. So as you can probably tell, we, as Wheaton College, we sit at a unique intersection between all these college rankings, where we have a top tier liberal arts education, but also we're rooted in a deep faith tradition and a Christ-centered community. And since I'm talking about investment and how Wheaton is worthwhile, naturally numbers and statistics come up, and you can see here that you are, we have under $50,000 in terms of cost for next year's tuition, room, and board altogether. And also to give you an idea of where Wheaton sits in comparison to some other colleges you might be looking at, or colleges we're usually compared to. When we're looking at all the Christian colleges, Wheaton sits in the middle in terms of tuition costs. And then when we're looking at the top tier liberal arts schools in the US, we're actually at the bottom of that spectrum in terms of tuition costs. So I'm not in any way trying to minimize the huge investment that college is, but we're just wanting to share with you that we're doing our best to make sure our top tier liberal arts education at Wheaton is accessible and affordable to students who want to enter into our community. And with that, we offered over $30 million in grants and scholarships to students last year. Students are able to obtain need-based aid via FAFSA information they fill out every year. We also offer merit scholarships, which are called presidential scholarships. These awards range between $10,000 to $16,000 a year. And I'd like to note these presidential scholarships, you automatically qualify for them once you apply to Wheaton. So you won't have to do a separate application for that to qualify. And then for the last 3 scholarships you see on this slide, these do require separate qualifications as well as a separate application. And finally, I'd just like to take some time to hear some last words from our alumni. And they shared with us how Wheaton was worth it for them and what their education at Wheaton really meant to them. So here's Anna from Minnesota. She talks about how she grew holistically at Wheaton. Beyond just academically and vocationally, she really deepened her spiritual habits. Overall, her relationship with Christ became more intimate, and she felt that day-to-day connection with him, and continuing forward, she sees that her Wheaton education really influences every moment of her life. Here's Isaiah from Washington. He talked about how Wheaton really challenged him to not just settle with the easy questions, easy answers to life's pressing questions. He talks about how professors were really involved in his life, both academically and also personally. And finally, we have Hannah from China. She talks about learning more about herself, her identity in Christ, and also who God is, and ultimately how to live in right relationship with the world and the people around her. And finally, she shares with us that Wheaton created her to be the person that she is today. And she is not the only one who says that about Wheaton. We are hoping that every person who is admitted to Wheaton and enrolls here can come away from their education at Wheaton saying the same thing. And with that, I urge all of you to take their next step and apply to Wheaton. We have our deadlines on this slide for you to take a look at. Our October 15th deadline is passed already, but you can look forward to our next early action deadline, November 15. We also have 2 regular decision deadlines in January and February. And for transfer students, you can look at next fall, and that is a rolling admissions basis. And finally, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at any time. And here is our contact info. Thank you for listening to us. And I think it would be nice to maybe ask Angela, Ben, or I can share too, just what advice we have for students who are wanting to apply to Wheaton.
Yeah, I can give some advice first really fast. I think the other thing I didn't mention earlier in my involvements is I'm involved in the admissions office. I was one of our volunteer tour guides during my sophomore year, and I've continued to stay on with them doing different things. And one thing that I realized as I was working for admissions and thinking back to when I was applying for colleges is that I did not use the resources that were right in front of me as I was applying for college. All of our admissions counselors want to talk to you, want to get to know you, want to help you with whatever things you're trying to figure out for college. I just kind of tried to do it alone and just figure it out. And I did not even close to utilize the resources that were right there. And I didn't talk to my admissions counselors as much. And I just, man, that is just so helpful. Like everybody in the admissions office is here to help you. We just want to talk to you and get to know you and help you figure this whole thing out, because it is crazy, probably even crazier now than ever, just thinking about where do I go? How do I make it work? I know that it is just a crazy hard decision, and there's so many things that go into it. And man, I really encourage you guys to let us know, let us help. We want to help you guys. So definitely reach out to us with any questions, and so we can help figure out what a college is going to look like for you guys.
Yeah, I actually had very similar advice as Ben, so I'm glad that you brought that up. But our whole job is to help you and your families as you navigate the college search, and it's 100% the highlight of all of our jobs. So even if it's a small question, if you want to email, phone call, Zoom call, get connected to professors or current students at Wheaton, we are so happy to help with that. I also am remembering my senior year when I was looking at colleges and had so much advice that I received from how to pick a college. And I think at the end of the day, the peer group is how I made the decision, and how I would encourage you to think about college decisions, because the students that you surround yourselves with are the people that you're in classes with, that you're living with in the residence halls. It's your friend group. It's people that you are close to after college. So just encourage you to get to know students at the different schools you're looking at and really choose a school off of a cohort that you respect, and because we become like the people that we're around. So that's like my biggest advice, and we really care about you and are happy to help and hope that you reach out with any questions you have.
Wonderful. Thanks for sharing, Ben and Angela. I have to second everything that they said, and I'm also thinking back to my time as a senior in high school, and I think for me, I wasn't going to apply to Wheaton at all in the first place. It was really a connection with my admissions counselor that really sealed the deal for me. She encouraged people during her school visit to have an interview with her. And if you are wanting to just talk to any of us admissions counselors or anyone else in the admissions office, a current student, a faculty member, coach, anyone, we're all willing to help you. And sometimes that really helps you in discerning this really difficult choice of yours. So thank you again for everything, for coming to listen to us. And we look forward to connecting with you.
Thank you very much to our presenters. Since you guys are all done, correct? Yep. Okay, I'm going to share one last thing for our students. So we appreciate you joining us today and taking time to learn more about this college. When you close out of this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We appreciate any feedback you can provide. Also, this was just one of the many sessions being hosted, so be sure to sign up for additional sessions. In about a week, you'll be able to find this recording as well as all the other sessions recordings. Thank you, and thank you to our presenters, and I hope everyone have a great day.